So I finally got my lights connected to my network so I can do that now. How's it going, gamers? Welcome to the dojo, which is in a bit of a disarray state right now, but that's aside the point. Today, we are going to be modding a Nintendo Wii, and specifically, we're just going to be doing a soft mod. This process should be, and I say should be, pretty straightforward from my knowledge. But yeah, that's the plan for today. So in preparation for this, we have a Nintendo Wii, of course. This is one of my older beat up ones. I have a couple Wiis, but this one is actually usually lives in our office. So for my IT consulting business, we have an office, and we usually have this in the game lounge, though I haven't really used it, so I figured it'd be a perfect candidate for a mod. And all you need is your Nintendo Wii, a SD card of some sort. In this case, I'm going to be going with a micro SD card with an SD card adapter just because it's a little bit more versatile, and I use these a lot for different mods. And that, in theory, is all you should need. The funny thing is, I just recently bought a modded Wii on a really cheap lot, but that won't be getting to me for quite some time because it's being shipped from Japan. But I have one of my spare Wiis here that we can use to mod, install homebrew, and kind of do some fun things and learn about it together. My only experience with modding a Wii is with the Wii U specifically, which is timely because the Wii U and 3DS servers shut down today as I record this video. But yeah, let's see what the process is like. So step one, I'm going to get this hooked up with power cables, and I'm going to hook it up to my RetroTink so that we can follow along in the process. Okay, good old reseating the connector and blowing into it. Fixed. Oh, now let's actually... There you go. Okay, so first things first, I think I have to get into the console settings, if I'm not mistaken, and check out the MAC address. So, Wii settings, I believe we want to go to, not system update, but internet? Yeah, console information. And I want to take note of my MAC address, essentially, which is like the hardware ID. Okay, calling a bit of an audible, we're actually going to switch to using ModMii to do the whole hack versus the letter bomb version. I don't know if it was like my SD card because I'm using an SD card adapter, using a bigger one than 32 gigs. But I just want to try my, can't even get the SD card out, but I want to try my hand at the ModMii technique since it seems to have a bit more options. So we're going to switch to that. By the way, a great site for all this stuff is wii.hacks.guide. Great resource for a lot of this information. And then I'm going to go ahead and follow the kind of steps here as far as grabbing the ModMii, and then I'm going to go ahead and run the installer and run through the process. I'm going to go ahead and type in the word agree, or I agree. Let it do its thing here. And then what we're going to want to do is right here, start here to mod the Wii. So we're going to hit W. It's then going to ask me some questions. Is this your first time soft modding your Wii? And would you like to have update all your existing soft mods, or would you like to update all your existing soft mods? In this case, Y is my answer. This is the first time soft modding the Wii. It's going to ask me for my current version. I am on 4.3. And my region is U for USA. And then you're going to want to go ahead and choose your exploit to go ahead and take advantage of, in this case, we're going to be using the W, the will brand, or the letter bomb. So same method we were using before. This is just an installer that kind of all packages it in here. It's going to ask me for my MAC address again here. Going to validate my MAC address and ask me if I want to download active iOSs. In this case, since mine has never been modified before, I'm going to hit N for no. I'm going to keep it on 4.3. In this case, I don't really care for the additional things since I'm never going to use those. It's now asking me if I want to install a custom theme. So you can check out custom themes here and install it. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for dark blue. In this case, we are going to set up a USB loader. You can use a USB drive like an external drive or an SD card. I'm going to try it again here with the SD card and see how that goes. So I think for most people, I think USB Loader GX is recommended. However, I do and have seen Wiis with a WiiFlow, so I'm actually going to go with the WiiFlow mod in this case. It's then going to ask me where would I like to save my USB loader app, games, and covers. So you're going to want to go ahead and select where you're going to be loading it to. In this case, it's going to be an SD card for me. And then it's going to kind of recap everything I want to do here. At this point, it's going to ask me for the drive letter in which I want to install it. In my case, mine should be drive E, but let me just do a sanity check here. Yeah, so should be E:. And then it's going to ask me to verify if I want all of this installed. Again, we're just going to hit yes. And then at this point, it's going to go ahead and start generating a guide that you can start going through while everything kind of happens in the background. So at this point, you can go through ModMii, kind of go through notes, make sure you validate some stuff here, and kind of follow through. So quick editor's note, I did have to reformat my SD card correctly. You can get mistaken with exFAT, which is like a newer enhanced version of FAT32, but in this case, the SD card did need to be FAT32 exactly. So I recommend using this tool called GUI Formatter. I'll link to it in the description down below. That allowed me to just format it the proper way, and that really solved all of my issues with the SD card being connected, because as you can see on the Wii, we now have Letter Bomb, which we can go ahead and launch to mod the Wii. I'm going to press 1 to continue. And at this point, we are in the HackMii installer. We're going to go ahead and hit continue here. The first thing we're going to do is actually install the homebrew channel. We're going to want to make sure we install that and let it do its thing. Successful, we're going to hit continue, and at this point we're going to go ahead and go into the BootMii menu, and then we're going to install BootMii as an iOS here. SD card's already inserted, so we're going to say yes, continue. Install, let it do its thing. Perfect, success. And then you're also going to install BootMii as a boot 2. So just run that process again, and when complete, you can hit continue. So I can go back to the main menu now and hit exit, and with all of those steps followed, this should boot me into the homebrew channel on next boot here, which is kind of like the modded environment. And here we are, just like that. Now at this point, you can go ahead and start downloading the appropriate mods. You can kind of think of the homebrew channel as like your kind of quote-unquote app store to navigate all these interfaces and mods. At this point, however, it's highly recommended to create a backup of your NAND files. Essentially, what this will allow you to do is create a copy of those system files. In the event you ever have a bricked system or something goes wrong for whatever reason, this will allow you to back up and restore from your Wii's NAND storage. So to do this, since we're in the homebrew channel, we're going to hit the home button, and then we're going to launch, apologies. So to do this, we're going to hit the home button, and we're going to go into launch BootMii. And then you should be at this screen. But keep in mind at this point, your Wii remote will not work. To navigate this point, you actually have to use the physical power and reset buttons on your Wii, or you can plug in a GameCube controller. I'm close enough to my Wii where I'm going to go ahead and navigate. So you're going to want to press the power button, and then the reset button will be your select. So in this case, we're going to go all the way over to the gear icon, and then we're going to select this first button to the left here. And at this point, it's going to start backing up your Mii NAND or your standard NAND here to your SD card. Keep in mind, you might get a couple bad blocks here and there. That's completely normal as long as it's successful at the end of this. All right, and with that, the verification and backup has been complete. So you can hit any button at this point. Oh, I forgot. I can't use the, let me hit the power button. There you go. So at this point, we can go ahead and navigate to the very far right here. We're going to exit. We're going to actually go back to the homebrew channel, I believe, because we want to install preloader as one of the final steps here. So at this point, I believe I can connect the controller again. We're going to launch preloader installer, hit load, let it do its thing here. At this point, it's going to ask you to hit A or plus to install. I'm going to hit the plus symbol. Preloader was not found, so it's going to go ahead and install it at this point, and this should be pretty quick. Yeah, literally done just like that. One thing I forgot to note, after you actually install Preloader, you're going to want to launch it, of course, and do some basic tweaks. There's a couple universal recommendations. First off, going into this one, it is recommended to block disk updates and block online updates just to kind of prevent anything from messing with, of course, your mods and accidentally like overwriting that. So go ahead and do that, and then save settings here, settings saved, and then you can go back to the previous menu here, I believe by the B key. Right, with this complete, we'll hit A to exit back to the loader. Let that load. We're back in the homebrew channel, and I believe there is yet one more thing we're going to want to do, and that's going to be on the other menu here. That is going to be the E1 ModMii edition, which stands for yet another WAD manager. This just handles a lot of stuff to make less manual with adjusting some files. So we're going to go ahead and use this here. We're going to select the storage device, which is just the Wii SD slot card. We select the device, and at this point you want to select all the files in this. So I believe you can use the plus symbol to mark them here. So you're going to go ahead and hit that, and you're just going to do this several times to load all those files here. So you want to make sure you select them all. And then it's going to take you back to the top here. And then once you've selected everything, you're just going to hit A. All files marked, hit A again, and then let it do its thing here. And at this point, it's completed, so I can hit any button to continue here. And if I want to go back, I can hit the home button, which will restart the Wii and bring me back into the homebrew channel. And for the most part, this completes the kind of pre-setup process in terms of modding / jailbreaking the Wii. So at this point in the process, it's entirely up to you where you want to take it. Once the Wii is modded, you can really kind of do what you want to do. At this point, you can back up your physical copy of games so that you have a legitimate backup of these that may, get damaged or deteriorate in the future. You can do things like install custom themes for your Wii menu. You can watch DVDs and play external media on your Wii if you want for whatever reason. You can use the USB loader to launch games off of external media, whether it's SD cards or external drives. You can restore online functionality through Wii Connect and Nintendo Online and using, I believe, modified servers, if I'm not mistaken. Again, the kind of world is your oyster at this point when it comes to the modded Wii. And with that, I think all I have left is to kind of throw some mods on. And then here we have the homebrew browser, in which you can kind of browse different things. They have games you can install, emulators that you can install. So you can install things like Wii Station for PlayStation emulators, N64 emulators for the Wii, so on and so forth. And you can do things like install these custom themes here. This is the dark blue Wii theme. They have games here like RuneScape. Oh, they have the 3D pinball. Let's see if I can download this classic Windows pinball and test this out. But I believe you look at that. Oh gosh, that's freaking crazy loud. Let me not blow out your eardrums. And then taking a look at one of the main reasons people may look to mod or soft mod Wii is for things like, loading your, again, backups or games onto said SD card. You can do this through an SD card. I believe you can do this through USB as well. But then you can use an interface like WiiFlow, which essentially just kind of pretties up the overall interface and presents you with your library of games, in this case loaded on the SD card. That you can, I believe, modify this view. So you can go into these like cool different cover art, cover flow sort of views to browse through your library. And you can do it in all sorts of interesting ways here. You can see I have a couple of titles loaded here on the Wii. And you can see I can just browse through that, and at any point if I want to play one, I could, or I can just keep on browsing through these crazy amount of views. So for example, if I wanted to play, let's say, Mario Kart Wii, I could. Do note for certain games, like for example, when I was testing, if you launch certain games, they may not launch, and that's just because certain games require to be ran on a specific, I believe it's, the iOS. So sometimes I've realized that on auto, it doesn't work. It'll actually just crash for certain games. And then if I change it, so for example, let's see if I change this one to 248, I believe this is one where it will, okay, yeah, so you can see here's an example of it crashing. So I wonder if that's susceptible to that. Now, to load your games onto the SD card, there's a couple apps out there that you can use. Wii Backup Manager is a popular one. There's also one for GameCube. And it's good to be able to test if your like ROMs or backups are even good. You can use an emulator to test them to make sure that it works. So in a case like this, if I know Mario Kart Wii works, and it might be, like I said, that iOS, let's go ahead and test 250, for example, and just see if that fixes it, because I believe I've had success on that one. And there you go. Now it's loading. So here it is, loading the game. Play it as just as if the disc was in there. So small quirks, obviously, and despite the Wii being as old of a console it is, you can usually find some sort of Reddit thread, or I'm sure there's a Discord community around this stuff for random fixes. I know for that was something that I found on Reddit. So again, you can play just as you would normally here now on the modded Wii. And as you can see, I have great driving coordination. I actually do not need the controls at all for this game. That surprisingly controls like pretty damn well. I never really played. Out of all the Mario Karts, this is the one Mario Kart I never really played. Though I know there's like an actually, like, even to this day, there's like a big community around Mario Kart Wii. And one other thing to note, given that the Wii was backwards compatible with the GameCube, at least certain models, the soft mod Wii does allow you to indeed load GameCube games. So I can launch something like Prince of Persia here, and you would be able to hook up a GameCube controller, of course, and play. Hooked up to my Wii, and I can now play GameCube games. So your modded Wii, in a way, will double as a GameCube, essentially. You can load your library there as well.
Formed from a good world into a hell. If you think so, you understand.
But look, there you have it. At this point, load up your Wii, have fun with it. You are modded, and you are good to go. This is a really fun process for me. Genuinely something that I hadn't done before on the Wii specifically. I have done something very similar to the Wii U, kind of familiar process there. But just key recommendations, things that you can do to save you time. Read the guide beforehand. I think the Wii hack guide just kind of really illustrates it, and using a tool like ModMii really just kind of streamlines that entire process. Have things like your SD card and all of that ready beforehand. I highly recommend using the tools to format that the proper way. That will save you a lot of issues. And then from there, you're pretty much off to the races. Follow step by step. Don't try to breeze through everything just in case. Using that guide to kind of be a reference. There's really great video guides out there, don't get me wrong, and I reference some of those. The only issue there is that some stuff becomes out of date, or certain processes or steps might be slightly different depending on the version and when that came out. Obviously, the Wii is a retro console at this point, so a lot of the stuff is pretty standard, but there's a few differences here or there. So use the guides that are using the official guides is a really great reference and base point. And then if you want a reference video for kind of visual guides, that's always there for you as well. And with that, gamers, hope you enjoyed a soft mod video on the Nintendo Wii, and maybe it'll encourage you or inspire you to go ahead and do the same. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe for more future gaming content and potential mods for other consoles. And with that, gamers, thanks for watching.